Secretary Derbez, I, like many others here, am a concerned abuelo of a binational nieto, concerned about the future. You talk very eloquently about the positive symbiosis, the perfect symbiosis that the valley represents. The river is where we are joined. We have never been divided by the Rio Grande. However, the policies in the Distrito Federal and the District of Columbia are getting ready to upset the apple cart that you so eloquently spoke of today to these students here at this college. I want to alert you to a couple of issues and see if you're aware of them, and if you are, the question would be, are you aware of them, and if so, what can you do to help make sure those things do not impact negatively on the future of the valley and both nations who are integrated here, starting in the Rio Grande Valley. And I compliment you again on what you said. You know more about the valley than anybody on either side, and so we compliment you on that. So there are.
I used to live in Monterrey.
So yes, I'd love to live in Monterrey. The Bush administration is getting ready, under the exit provisions of U.S. visit, to start stopping people going into Mexico for the first time in history. Under those provisions, that could potentially, according to many economists, negatively impact on that $17 billion being sent to your country by Mexican-American family members in this country. On your side of the border, from the Distrito Federal, there are 2 bridge contracts that have not been let. The bridge at Progreso, Las Flores, Rio Bravo, that bridge has had a new truck lane ready to be open for over a year. Even though Mexico requested that lane, it has not been opened, which would provide security rather than going through that city. Over in Anzalduas, there's an Anzalduas bridge that has not been built. If that Mexican contract is not let on the Mexican side, tens of millions of dollars, of federal dollars from Washington, are going to be lost, and that bridge is going to be way behind schedule, possibly never to be built, if that does not happen on the Mexican side. Those are 2 problems. Ambassador Rufo told me at this college that it would be a new day when President Fox took over. We are still seeing the same problems exist as it relates to those problems. What can you do to help us?
On the second one, if I'm not mistaken, in Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, there will be a meeting, in particular in this area, to resolve the
Anzalduas
bridge, okay? And by the way, it's not the only bridge. I mean, of course, these are bridges that you look at because you are living here. But they also came just from Mexicali and from Tijuana and Ciudad Juarez, where we have a set of bridges that have been held in terms of, stopped in construction because we have not moved fast enough to give the right to be built, okay? So what we are doing right now is we are going to be moving in that direction and creating the conditions to make the assignation for the ending of the contract. So the question is correct. We began this 4 years ago. How come it takes so long? Okay. Well, as I mentioned in the presentation, bureaucrats love their jobs, and they don't like to lose them. The more you eliminate all these rules and regulations, the less bureaucrats you require. And so far, we have been working and trying to get through that. But it's been a maze, and very complex maze. So we get lost on our ways too many times. If I understand correctly, we have now found the solution. We're going to be providing the impetus, and hopefully in about a year or 2, not only will construction happen, but also the bridge is finished. Because we believe, along with you, that unless we have more and more crossing points between Mexico and the United States, our trade will be hampered by this particular project. Just as an aside, on the southern part of Mexico, it's even more difficult, okay? Between Mexico and Guatemala, there's only 2 bridges. And we need to build, and that's what we're building right now, 4 more bridges. Because the same situation happens there. Now that brings me to the question of security, which is very important to us. In order to understand that, the things that we are doing with the United States government will have to be replicated with the Guatemalan and the Belizean governments. Because for us, our 2 borders will have to be worked in the same way, so that we can have perimeters of security in our country that will make sense, but in addition that will make sense also for the United States and for Canada in our three-country relationship. So we're working on that security issue. That's why I have it here, okay, because it's very important. Now, in terms of the remittances and the people who will be stopped, okay, I hope it won't happen. We're working right now with the United States government within this context of the problem I was talking about to say, okay, how can we create conditions that will simplify the processing of people and the processing of money between our two countries. In terms of the processing of money, we have made a big success so far. We have reduced the cost of sending money from the United States to Mexico in more than 75% in the past 4 years. So the cost now for people of sending $5, $50, $100 has been reduced dramatically because of actions taken by Banco de Mexico in terms of the relationship of regulations with the United States banking and the Mexican banking system. And in terms of the people, we have to work with the American government in finding solutions that will allow us to identify very quickly and provide some kind of fast-track processing. We're working on that. It's going to be tough, I agree with you, but we're trying to find ways. Now, whether we will be able to or not, I will not compromise my position right now because I honestly don't know whether it will work. Because this is a very difficult process for the two governments right now. We are learning by doing, and it's complicated.
The security angle, by stopping everyone leaving this country, that can have major impact. Are you concerned about U.S. visit stopping everyone leaving the country?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I say we have to work with the American government in finding a fast-track process that will allow, if you want to do that revision, do it, but then in a fast-track basis that will allow people to move very fast. Now, these things can be done, by the way. When September 11 happened, as you know, immediately after the impact, we had these long lines, long queues of trucks and everything else that would take 4, 5, 8, 10 hours to get across the border. Now we have reduced that to about 30 minutes on average. There are a few days when you have problems. But on average, now we have 30 days, we have the fast lanes, we have now the revision at the point of origin for many products. So we are finding ways to improve. The opposite now, which is what you are mentioning, is going to start happening. Okay? Are you going to let people go there? So we have to find a way to do it easily and efficiently. And hopefully we'll be able to do it.
The manager of that program told me in Mexico City that the reason for the exit provisions is because 2 of the hijackers had overstayed their visas. That's the sole reason for implementing that, stopping everyone leaving the United States.
Yeah, well, we're learning by doing it.